Alright, finally the complete graphic novel and comic haul for July of 2025. Now why am I so specific about it when sometimes I'll just say graphic novel? Well, if it's a floppy set slash single issue, I call it comic. If it's a collected edition, I call it graphic novel. For the most part, I just get graphic novels. It could be collected editions. That's all that's really available on Amazon unless you want to pay overpriced on Amazon. Even on eBay, the comic floppy that I got was, after shipping and all that, the total price was a bit irritating, a bit annoying. But it was worth it. All the comics I got here were two, I guess. I don't know what I was trying to say there. But without further ado, let's get into it. Starting with the floppy, and that is Dread the Hall H. Now, one thing I do like is I give you the Mylar. And that's what I think every eBay seller should do, regardless if it's a trade or if it's a floppy. Now, if it's an omnibus or it's over 500 pages, I understand why you wouldn't do that, but it goes a long way. Like, all the books here could have been in Mylars, even the trades. So I'm going to show you under the dust jacket. So this is written by Jordan Hart and Chris Ryall, with artwork done by, I imagine artwork done by these people. Chris Anderson, Nelson Daniel, Peter Kowalski, and I believe Jimmy Kujak is the letterer. But I think he's also the artist. And I did get this cool little badge homage cover, which I thought was pretty cool. When I was looking for this book on eBay, I at the very least wanted to get a variant cover, because this is also a 1 out of 10 variant cover, so it could have been worth what I paid for, and I could have gotten a good deal. Like, it's worth what I paid the total, but they gave me a little discount, if anything, because I knew the shipping cost would be the same amount as the book. Honestly, I think it was actually just about. But the comic itself, I got a deal on. You guys know what I'm talking about. Like, total was added shipping. Now where is... Right here. Oh, here it is. Okay, so written by Chris Ryall. So I was wrong, actually. Well, I was right and wrong. Jimmy Kujak is the artist. So writers, Jordan Hart and Chris Ryall. Art by Chris Anderson, Nelson Daniel, Peter Kowalski, and Jimmy Kujak. Or Kukaj. I don't know. Covers by Maria Wolf, Nelson Daniel, and Jordan Hart. The cover I got is Jordan Hart. The Jordan Hart cover. Now this one is kind of weird because I flipped through this and they tell you, oh, this is the first. There it is. Okay, so I was wrong yesterday. So Lion Cat is the first Jordan Hart story. I was just flipping through it wrong. So because I got this for the Jordan Hart stories more than anything, because I really liked those, were I would argue the best out of the first Dread the Hall book, which Dread the Hall is so there's 2 issues, 2 one-shots. The first one is a Christmas special, and this one is obviously, as you can tell, a San Diego Comic-Con / Comic-Con special. So all the stories here have to do with Comic-Cons, but with a twist. And here's the artwork for Dread the Hall H. Now I do want to flip through this real quick just to see. Yeah, because this one. Okay, so I guess Q&A, I guess, has like a part 2, because then you get to the. It looks like. Yeah, no. And spoiler alert is Chris Ryall. Don't tell me Jordan Hart just did 1 story here. No, he had 2 stories. Okay, so I think it's actually evenly split. There's 4 stories. It looks like there's 4 stories total, and then half is done by Chris Ryall, the other half done by Jordan Hart. Now, why did I just say, don't tell me Chris Ryall didn't have the stories? It's nothing against the author. It's just I got this because of Jordan Hart, and I didn't want to feel like it was a waste of money because he only did like a 5-page story in this one-shot, which is already pretty thin. Like, it's thicker than your average trade. It's thicker than your average single issue, yes, but only by a little bit. Like, it's double length. Yeah, this is $6.99. Pretty pricey, but it's worth it. The first one I really enjoyed, and I liking them. I could have gotten this on the Kindle for the list price and not add it, and obviously with a supersetter, I not had to deal with, hell, like I got a discount with my $3 Kindle credit that I don't know how to spend it on because there's no sales going on right now. I thought, for whatever reason, Marvel isn't doing any right now. They had Fantastic Four, She-Hulk, and Deadpool. Once those ended on Monday, they didn't have another one coming out, which is really weird in my opinion. Because Marvel, like, they always have one going on. I don't know if it's Kindle just being stupid. It's possible because Amazon is just really annoying with that, but I don't know. It's just Kodansha manga. I'm not a manga guy, nor would I pay money for manga because my library would most likely have. My library has a lot of manga, and they most likely just have it, and it's the wait, worst case. Not a big manga guy, obviously. So yeah, Dread the Hall H. I think I explained everything. I showed the artwork. Move on now. Okay. Next one up is Transformers Worst Bot Ever Meet Ballpoint, written by Brian Smitty Smith with artwork by Mars Jr. Now, Brian Smitty Smith is known for just doing kiddie books. This is a kiddie book. This is an 8 and up Transformers comic. So, if, even though the main comic run that's going on for from Image right now, that's being published by Image right now, and I was trying to say it the right way, and it was sounding really awkward, and I realized we'll say published. But if you're skeptical about letting your kid read the current ongoing Daniel Warren Johnson series from Image, that's also Transformers, even though it's only teen, like it's not anything above teen, and then it's pretty light, and it's just maybe a little bit too violent, maybe a little bit violent, bloody violence, a little bit, maybe. That's the worst that it gets. This would probably be the best way to go. I only got this one because it looked interesting enough, but flipping through the artwork, this is definitely a kiddie book. Through and through. And here's the artwork for Transformers. The lettering is absolutely, ginormous for this book. Which probably means this will be a quick read, so there you go. It's already a thin book. I think this is the thinnest Image Skybound book, or one of them at least. Image Skybound comic specifically, in this format for Image Comics Skybound comic. Just go wide bound. I show the artwork. I just keep thinking of things that I was going to mention. I forgot to mention. But yeah, he's just primarily known for doing kiddie books, Brian Smitty Smith. That's all he does, just kiddie books. They're comics, they're all in the same vein, on the same line of graphic novels, at least from what I can tell. But just all kiddie books. And that same, not kiddie books like Spider-Man and X-Men, kiddie books picture books, basically. Whatever is in between picture books and the Spider-Man series, that's where Brian Smitty Smith's books align to, or when they are fit, when they place. Basically, a step behind Silver Age Marvel, or Silver Age in general. And nothing against that, obviously. I really enjoyed Scurry, and that was, I believe it was actually it was the same age demographic too. It was 8 and up, and that was one of the best comics I've read in a long time, and so glad I own that book. All that, highest praise I can give it a comic to. That's what that deserves. All that, one of the best graphic novels for kids too. Alright, so next up is 21 by Len Wein. The creator of Wolverine himself did some work for Image. Now, one thing I noticed yesterday is that it appears there's water damage on this book. But I think it's just wavy pages. But it was kind of making the book hard to open when I was trying to show the artwork. It was stuck together almost. And I thought I said humidity, right here. It was weird. I don't think it's water damage. I don't know. I think now this trade came out in the late 90s. So I think it's just a paper stock that they used more than anything, but I wouldn't be surprised to find out it was some partial water damage. Hardly noticeable. Even on the cover, I would never be able to notice. Feeling every part of that cover, it feels brand spanking new. So they weren't lying when they said near mint. Yeah, it was kind of odd. There's the artwork for 21, which is done by Mark Silvestri. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of names too. This was kind of pissing me off because there's 20 names. Okay, I get it, but it's only 96 pages. If that. Three standard size issues. So there's the. Hopefully you can see that. You can zoom in if you want to zoom in, but it's a lot of names. And this one collects all 3 issues of 21. At least what I hope is all 3 issues. Yeah, this trade I could not even find on Amazon. I had to get off eBay. I probably could have and should have just stuck with the issues themselves, but I wanted to get the trade. And this one, so how did I even find out about 21? My comic shop. I don't know what possessed me to look up image trades from A to Z on my comic shop. And when I came across 21, I was like, oh, trade paperback and it's in stock. Let's see what this is all about. Oh my god, Len Wein. I have to get this next month now. Or this month, because I think it was in July that I saw it. I first came across it. Now, the other thing about that is, why didn't I get it off my comic shop? They're economy shipping. And the last time I ordered from them, it took a long time. Not like a super long time. It wasn't like completely arduous. But it was kind of like, you guys are just taking long because economy shipping. And then, I mean, this month I would have been fine with it. For the most part. Because just how long the one book took to come. Just because of how long one book took to came in, it probably wouldn't have been the biggest deal in the world to me. But I still, like... And it's one of those things, I think it was taking forever to even be shipped, like, not to go to ship, like, shipped. But, like, label created, not yet in system, to going to, your item arrived at this facility. It was really weird. And sometimes I know it sounds silly, because, like, it's not technically their fault, but I do also blame the third-party seller if it's taking longer to go to each facility from USPS. Yeah, I think you're supposed to. I think it's USPS's fault, but I'm also like, well, it's kind of a trend. Like half-price books. Unless it's a pre-order, it's always a guarantee that if I order from half-price books, the last book that comes in the mail or that comes in general is the half-price books graphic novel. And if if they lie, like, oh my god, this third-party seller lied. They said it was used very good, but there's so many blemishes. I would say used good. Not very good, just used good. Odds are, it's half-price books. I really do hate half-price books. And the only reason why I ever order from them is as absolute last resort. Every other third-party seller I've ordered books from has been, absolutely perfect. My Wonder Book, the only one complaint I have is that they said it was used like new, but there was like a huge indent, like it was right here, and it was really noticeable. Like it was like bent a little bit, not bent, but it was like I don't know what the word you use to describe is, but it was. I guess you could say it was bent, and they tried to put it back together, and then you could see like the residue. It's hard to explain without showing it. But that was the only complaint with Wonder Book. And it was kind of bullshit, because they said it was used like new. And I think it happened twice, too. Like, twice in a row. Not with 2 books, but twice in a row. It was like May and June, let's say. Gang Lords of Chinatown. Written by Ivan Brandon. Penciled by Mike Hawthorne. Inked by Rick Remender. Colorist is Gulia Brusco. Now, this is one that, I will say this, in the special cityscape illustration is done by Andy McDonald. And it's created by Jeff Amano, who did, there is 2 volumes in this series. I did not get volume 2, because volume 2 is a completely different creative team, story, and everything else besides artwork. I think the artist is the only consistent thing, and it's also written by its creator. But Gang Lords of Chinatown, for the longest time, I thought I had everything Ivan Brandon did for Image Comics. This one literally snuck up on me. I had checked out my library. I was like, oh, this is probably like, Boom Studios or IDW, Lion Forge. Nope, Image. And not like Devil's Due, where it's there when they're imprints with the spine says Devil's Due, so I don't count that as Image. No, straight up Image Comics. And it pissed me off because, again, I kind of did go overboard with May's books. And also my birthday, so it was also I'm allowed to do that on my birthday. But it was because I had the last few books I went a little bit overboard on were the Ivan Brandon books I forgot about. Because I was looking them up, doing some research. Like, oh shit, verses. Oh shit, this one. And one of them was also Ed Prison. So there's that too. But yeah, finding out because of the fact that, oh, well, the original issues, this is 5 issues, by the way, it collects all 5 issues of Gang Lords of Chinatown. So it's actually Rule, R-U-U-L, Gang Lords of Chinatown. But yeah, the original 5-issue miniseries for Gang Lords is done by Beckett Comics. Published by Beckett Comics, which I'm sure you've never heard of that comic book publisher. And the reason for that is I believe they probably went out of business. They weren't making the sales they thought they'd make, and they had to shut their doors down, shut doors down. They closed their doors. I don't know why my brain is just like failing right now. I don't know if it's the heat or what, but like my brain, the words aren't connecting. That's why I'm kind of trying to on like this. I think it's fine. Like I don't mind doing this. It's honestly like whatever. And I have 2 days to decide whether or not I'm going to use this as a final cut. And if I do, it's not a big deal. But anyways, going back to the book, 5-issue miniseries published by Beckett, trade done by Image. I don't know why they chose Image, but they did, and it was just really infuriating because again, I thought I had everything, and also it was one of those skin of its teeth kind of books too. Like it was like right on the cusp of my budget. But so the artwork, and then we'll move on. But I have read this one because again, I said library had it, and it was Image snuck up on me, yada yada yada, and it is pretty good. It reminds me of early 2000s. I don't know why I specify Marvel, but Marvel Comics. It has that feel, that early 2000s comics feel that honestly I'm really nostalgic for, because, and I'm gonna get really specific about this, and honestly I hope it makes sense. It there's more context and there's more of a it drives it home, I guess you could say, but it also reminds me of the early 2000s comics that I find for $1 a pop at my local comic book store. The one I don't go to as often or at all because they shut down their doors. They have went out of business. I think they moved shop though. I think they're somewhere else. But anyways, that comic shop, they had a dollar bin, and I'd always every now and then I'd find Marvel series that no one had really heard of. I'd give them a chance because it's hey, it's a mini series. They have all the issues in this mini series. Why the hell not get it? And I'd read it, and I was like, you know what, that was good. But if I had to pay full price, I probably would not have liked it as much. I played a lot more. It would have been a 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10. But it's decent, so it's a 6 out of 10. That's exactly what I'd give Rule Gang Lords of Chinatown. It's a 6 out of 10. If you want if you want that same feeling that I just described, and you also have nostalgia for the time period, then I suggest getting that book. And my drink is not up here. For whatever reason, when I film, it's not because of the heat, not because of this, my throat just closes up. And sometimes it's literally I can't even talk. That's how bad it gets. It's complete dry mouth, and I don't even know. It's a scientific, scientific curiosity. Scientific miracle, if you want to be technical about it, because miracle you can argue, well yeah, maybe someone's trying to figure out how this works, or they're trying to find out the next Marvel. That was what I was looking for. Scientific Marvel. Look at the next scientific Marvel, and Eureka! They found it in me. When I'm trying to film a video, and if I don't have my drink, then I can't talk anymore. I don't know what it has to do with. And no, it's not because I talk so much, because I've had hour and a half videos where I've had no problem. And again, I've also filmed when it was hot out. The heat was annoying. It was annoying. The heat was intense, so don't know. And even right now, it's not too bad. Alpha Girl is the next book. It collects all 5 issues of this mini-series, written by Jeff Roning and Jean-Paul Bonjour, with artwork done by... Oh, that's right, too. There's a bunch of names. Okay, so penciler for chapters 1 through 3 is Robert Love. The inker for chapters 1 through 3 is Dana Shukarsi. Artist for chapters artist for chapters 4 through 5 is Diego Simon Cover artist for chapters 1 through 3, and issue 5 is Robert Love, but issue 4 is Jeff Razor for the cover artist chapter 4. Cover artist for the volume 1 is Diego Simone, and then the colors for the entire series is Diego Simone. Consistency. And then here is the artwork for Alpha Girl. This is one of those comics I'd never heard of. I was just researching, I was looking up books on Image, their website, and even then, I don't know how I came across this book. Because there's one book I didn't get this month that I told myself, add this to your wish list, or else you're gonna forget. And I did forget, and now I can't think of what it is. I tried like everything, because I thought it was, oh, it's this genre. Still couldn't find it. Oh, it came out in this month. Still couldn't find it. And I can't even remember what other books. What happened was I was like November 2018, Image Comics, and that book showed up. And I can't remember what other books I saw too. Like what was it? Witchblade 238, Spawn Origins Volume 8 trade paperback came out that same time, around the same time, that same month. I mean, I have no idea. I can't find it. And it wasn't anything I was like too terribly excited for, but it was like a nice little novelty book like this one. Now, this one is even more of a novelty than that other book is, because this book, the writers, this is their only credited work. Nothing else. No comics, books, or otherwise. And that's always been a huge novelty to me, because I'm collecting Image books anyways, and sometimes I'd be like, I am short $20, and I can't get this book, it's $30, so let's see, oh, Alpha Girl. Okay. You know, nice little novelty. And that's what happened with this book. And some others you'll be seeing here. There's the artwork for Alpha Girl. Now, I understand that there could be a reason why that happened, but, you know, when in Rome, I guess is the perfect time to use that phrase, you know. It's also, it's never been a downside for me. Even if the book sucks, it's still a huge upside. That's like, hey, it's a novelty. And I know it makes no sense to people, but other than myself, and unfortunately, I can't explain it other than what I just said. Any other way than how I just said it. Next series, and this is, I think, one of the authors. It was the only work they had done in general. But this is Pretty Violent. All 2 volumes, all 11 issues. 11 issues, mini series, split into 2 volumes, limited series, split into 2 volumes, Pretty Violent, written by Derek Hunter and Jason Young, with artwork done by Spencer Holt. Now, another huge, the artwork, so, I was wrong. Created, drawn, and lettered by Derek Hunter, written by Jason Young and Derek Hunter, but colored by Spencer Holt. Technically, I was right, but, yeah. So what's kind of fun about this book is, number 1, it says, Pretty Violent, ... actually says on the cover, too, with lots of swears. And that's not why I got this book. I got this book because it showed up on an Image Comics. When the Image Comics, very rarely, they'll have digital sales. And this book showed up a long time ago. And I put it to the side. I was like, this is not a book I'm going to want to read. But more and more I thought about it, especially recently, and I was like, why the hell not? Why the hell not? You know, you've heard of Pretty Deadly from Image Comics. Now here's Pretty Violent from Image Comics. There's also that little novelty. And I think Jason Young is the writer. Yeah, Jason Young, I think, was the only thing he had done. But I couldn't check for certain. Because Amazon said yes. Comic Book League said, who's Jason Young? There's the artwork for Pretty Violent. One of those comics that the artwork looks like it's cartoony, so for kids, but then you open up the book and it's violent and has swears and everything like that. You're like, okay, mature rated. Gotcha. So Volume 1 collects issues 1 through 6, and Volume 2 collects 7 to 11. Now, as I was about to say, what was so funny about this book, this specific trade, like the condition at least, is that this is used very good by Wonder Book standards. And other than some sticker residue right here, there's nothing else wrong with it. Yeah, okay, the spine it's got some shelf wear, and two remainder marks, but other than that, like, completely immaculate. And this is why I do use very good, because every now and then you don't get fucked over. Even half-price books, sometimes you don't get fucked over. I'll always, and I hope I always remember to give this as an example, but when I got Madame Mirage from Image Comics by Paul Dini, it was, and the artwork being done by Kenneth Rockeford, I noticed, it's actually the art, it's actually the reason why I said, it may have some writing on it, that's why it's used very good, was because it was signed by the artist. I don't know if it was Kenneth Rockeford. I know it was kind of a big name if you know your indie stuff, but, still a nice novelty. And it could be signed by Peter Kowalski, who I only kind of know, and I still see that as a huge novelty. Like, when I opened that book, I believe, and I hope this was a cut that I published, I didn't notice it until I saw it. Although I think I noticed it when I opened the book. Because I usually, especially with Used Very Good, and every book I get from Amazon, I assess the damages. I'm like, alright, what are the damages? And Amazon, do I get it used very good? No, I buy it new. Brand spanking new, and sometimes the blemishes that appear on a new book are worse than a used very good book, which I think is insane. And third-party sellers do a better job than Amazon does. Amazon Prime, who has boatloads of cash and can definitely pay to have them for them to do the exact same shit that third-party sellers and every eBay seller does, and actually take good care into the packaging that's inside the book. The book packaging, close the box, and then ship it out. And then even if you drop it, book is fine. But I feel like if the Amazon guy shakes like that by accident, or like trips, and then the book goes like that, there's a blemish that otherwise would not appear if they just took care into the packaging inside the box. And what's kind of annoying is they do this every now and then. But what's really fucking annoying is that one time they did it for a hardcover, and I got a soft cover that same day, and no protection for the soft cover, but all the protection for the hardcover. And it was like, hardcovers are already hard, even for Amazon, are already hard to get damaged. What the hell is going on here? Alright, next book is the only book that no one has seen yet, and that is that scene part. I saw that other comic haul video that I did a few days ago, and that is, the other day, is Doll Parts, A Lovesick Tale. Collecting all 4 issues of the series that is written and drawn by Luana Vecchio. Written, drawn, and lettered, actually, too. It's kind of funny. And an English adaptation and editing done by Edward Cho. So I guess Luana Vecchio is not is not a native English speaker. So this is a spin-off from Lovesick. I got Lovesick a long time ago. So long ago that I was shocked. I was like, wow, it was that long ago that Lovesick came out. And, obviously I remember when I bought it. Like, I know it was around this time. When I could go into detail, but I'm not going to, because it's not going to make any sense to anybody, even long-time viewers. But one of those comics, I'm like, oh, okay. It's been a while, but alright. I know it's the artwork in that book, and they were pretty violent. Some of these books just don't have a whole to mention. And also, this was a brand spanking new copy from Amazon. Oh yeah, I mentioned. There's another one to mention. So this book I should have and could have gotten yesterday, as of my recording this video. So Tuesday, the 29th is when this released on Amazon. Already 2 weeks behind comic shops and eBay. I should have just gotten this off eBay. Now I thought maybe the Half Price Books book will come in on Wednesday too. So, might as well just do that. No, it came in on Monday. So, Tuesday was just a whole fluke of a day. Now, obviously, the more and more I think about it, obviously I am fine with it coming in today on Wednesday, because I had that stream with my cousin that you saw on Tuesday. I'm going to say that you saw, because we had a nice little turnout. So, and that was already at 3 o'clock, and I was already trying to catch up on my reading, and this, and that, and that, and this, so that would have put a damper into plans, I gotta do the comic haul, so, so to be fair, I am kind of glad the way things turned out. But, I definitely could have gotten on Tuesday, the release date delivery, but they said no, Wednesday. You ordered it when we said Wednesday, so it's coming on Wednesday, not a day before. No matter what. The reason why I'm so pissed off is because it went to the 1-a-day shipping facility. And I didn't know that until last night. Yesterday, and it goes yesterday afternoon, I almost want to say, before I went to Logan's. But anyways, it did that for a whole entire day. The whole entire day was nothing. Just kept saying, delivery appointment scheduled. Delivery appointment scheduled. Now, it was shipped by USPS, and USPS did say, no, it went here first, and then... that was inaccurate. I don't know, man. Who I believe? I believe Amazon. And I believe they were just trying to be a little bit annoying. But whatever. I got it. And it's no real blemishes other than this, so we're good. I just showed the artwork. And all 4 issues. Now, they did lie. Amazon says 240 pages. It's 152. Definitely not 240 pages. Next up is Snot Girl by Snot Girl Volume 4, Make It Make Sense, by Brian Lee O'Malley, who's the writer, and the artist is Leslie Hung. This book took forever, because this book, not to come in, but this book took forever to come out. Between issues 15 and 16 specifically. So issue 15 came out in 2020, issue 16, 2024. 4-year hiatus. I guess Brian Lee O'Malley was really busy, and then they had COVID, and all this shit happens. So unfortunately, we had to wait a long time. And that means an even longer time for the trade to come out. 16 to 20, the issues 16 to 20 are collected here. Now, I have read the first 3 volumes, and they're pretty damn good. Not as good as Scott Pilgrim. What Brian Lee O'Malley is most known for, definitely. But it is still one of those books that I would recommend to someone who's like, hey, I like Scott Pilgrim, I want more of that. I would honestly say to go to Snot Girl more than I would say go to Seconds, Lost at Sea, or anything else he's written that I have read. Other than Scott Pilgrim and Snot Girl. Those are the 4. Snot Girl, Lost at Sea, Seconds, and of course Scott Pilgrim. So, out of those 4, I would recommend them. Honestly, if I had to go in order, it'd be Scott Pilgrim, Snot Girl, Lost at Sea, Seconds. Seconds was one of those books that I didn't give it another chance, but as I was reading it, and when I finished it, I came up with the same conclusion. And this was like, keep in mind, it was like 20 pages in to when I finished it. This book just has no business being as long as it is. Cut it in half, and then there you go. It goes from a 5 out of 10 to a 8 out of 10. But as is, it's 5 out of 10. Again, worthy of a reread. But yeah, Snot Girl, finally. Now, it is apparently going to come back. They're taking another little break, but hopefully not 4 years. Between issues 20 and 21. No news yet of when it will be released, when issue 21 is coming out. But they did say, in anticipation for the Volume 4 trade, we're going to give you time for trade waiters to get caught up. Which I think is the absolute, the definition of 2 thumbs up. Like, the best practice for comic book publishers to practice is waiting for trade readers to get caught up before you get on with issue 7. Now, if you're X-Men, for the big 2, do your thing. But indie publishers, just be patient. Unless you are afraid that people are gonna lose patience and drop the series, adhere to trade waiters. It's not that difficult a concept. Or, not that big a deal. Not that hard a concept, you know? Next up, you can see how long I'm going on for. Alright, cool. Next up is Marksman. Now, this is written by David Baxter and... don't say it right. David Baxter and Dave Elliott. Script done by Dave Baxter. Pencils done by Javier Aranda. Finishes by Gary Leach. And the 2 colorists are Jessica Cloline and Benny Milana. But for some reason, it's created by Michael Benarova, and of course, David Baxter and David Elliott. But Michael's name is nowhere else here. not writer, not the artist, not the scripts, not the pencils, nowhere else. Not even the letterer. Not even the covers, not even the edits, not even PR. Kind of strange. Maybe he just came up with the concepts. I have no idea. But Marksman, collecting all 6 issues of the series that I got for $7 on Amazon. 1 day shipping too, and they were actually like no delays, whatever. So I got it within 1 day. That is like, I think Amazon should do that more often, because not only is this trade, the sticker covers what the list price is. I believe it's $20. So like 60. Actually, I think it was 61% off. Why can't Amazon do that with books that they have an abundance of? Even this, like, they're almost out of stock. And usually when Amazon is running low in stock on books, they're like, oh, that means it's worth it. That means a lot of people are buying it. So let's take it from $7 to full price. I've seen it happen, like, almost in real time. Not a good practice at all. But yeah, Marksman, Volume 1, all 6 issues, and... Oh, but David Baxter is a screenwriter. So screenwriter turns comic book writer. But this is the only thing he's done. For comics, at least. So, I guess he just did it was a one and done. Which I don't mind that. I don't think every comic book artist or every screenwriter turned writer needs to be the next Todd McFarlane. Now, I don't think that's what Todd is. I'm just saying Spawn is ridiculous, the amount of issues it's come out with, and the amount of spin-offs and everything. I believe we're at like 600, maybe even 700 at this point. And then the next video I upload, even if it's tomorrow, will somehow be at 1,000. Because 18 more spin-offs will be announced for the last however many months this year. And then next year, they'll be like, okay, 20 more. You guys want to know why there's no Spawn on my shelf or in my collection at all, except for the 2 random issues I have of Spawn? That's why. It's just so annoying, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, you've made it so I don't care about a series that every now and then I'm like, yeah, I do want to check out Spawn, but then I'm like, oh, it's exhausting. Even getting the compendiums and nothing else would be exhausting for me. Now, that's coming from the guy who collects the Witchblade complete collections and the Darkness complete collections, and we'll probably find out the hard way that it's the same thing as Spawn, but at least the spin-offs aren't still happening. You know, we have a Witchblade new ongoing, but no spin-offs have been announced yet. And even then, it's been like maybe 1 or 2. Like, in the last 10 years, 5 at most for Witchblade spin-offs. Spawn, I would say it's 20 in the last 5 years. Alright, next up, enough of that tangent. Next up is Paradox Girl by Kat Yi Borquin, and then the artwork is done by Yishan Lee. I'll do this so you guys can see who the names are, and you can laugh at how much I butcher those 2 names. Because those of you who know how to say those names, pronounce them the right way, are probably laughing. But edited and produced by Peter Bensley. Additional artwork done by Harley Williams, Suzanne Elizabeth Miller, and Stuart Wallace Miller. It's pretty epic when 2 of them have the same. It's pretty epic when 2 of them have the same last name. This collects all 6 issues of Paradox Girl. And I know for a fact, how did I know that Marksman was 6 issues and subsequently Paradox Girl? I just remember those things. So Paradox Girl, yet another book that it's the only thing the author has done for any publisher, any format, whatever. It's the only thing they've done. Only thing that they put pen to paper with on. And that's like not just Amazon. It's not Amazon saying yes, but actually no. No, it's yes. Across the board, yes. Now, Paradox Girl, like with Gang Lords of Chinatown, the issues were done by a different publisher, trade done by Image. And like with Alpha Girl, I just came across this one. I was looking up another series, and then I just came across Paradox Girl. Like, oh, what's this? Oh, it's something the author's done. All right, add that to the wish list. I did it right then and there, too. Because I was going to get it last minute, last month. I couldn't. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Probably should have, though. It only would have been $7. But who cares? I don't. Well, debatable. Alright, so we got Paradox Girl. Nice, what I need to say about it. Show the artwork. Alright, moving on. Madi, Once Upon a Time in the Future. Written by both Duncan Jones and Alex Campi. Duncan Jones is well known for his movie Moon, and Alex Campi is well known for maybe being a comic book writer for some people, but most well known for the murder of being involved in the murder of Ed Piskor. Yes, it was a suicide, but it was because Alex Campi and many others, not just her, were bullying him mercilessly online, and he unfortunately took his own life. Now, it's very dismal, dark, depressing. I understand that, and it's going to kill the mood maybe for some people, but it's something that I always will mention when I am showing off a comic done by Alex Campi. Even if it's an anthology and she did a two-page story, I will always mention this every single time. Because that is an ugly practice to... Not even a practice... I don't want to say practice. That's like... Moving on. So the artwork, because the artwork is pretty damn good. Now, Alex Campi is a decent enough writer. I don't hate any of her books. Now, I haven't been so super wowed by anything she's written, and even the best book by her, No Mercy, I remember the book didn't even have an ending. So, there you go. I'm going to show the artwork here, too. For whatever reason, the binding on this book is a bit tighter than normal. I know it's a thickie book. I know it's a thickie, but still. No, it's weird. Oh no, it was just the way it was just the way I was holding it. Because right now we're fine. I guess it was because it was a thickie. Here, I'll try doing this. Yeah, especially here, the artwork is extremely inviting. Like investing. It catches your eye. You're automatically engrossed into the narrative just by the artwork alone. I always appreciated that, and most of the time, like I've noticed that it's a really nice trend, but with indie books in general, you know. And yes, I'm also including Vertigo as indie. I know I shouldn't technically, but creator-owned stuff. Creator-owned stuff. Like I of course, like I'll read a Spider-Man book, like oh man, that's really good artwork. But for the most part, it's been indie stuff. And I'm talking stuff that like I can't tell you. Oh, I should do that. Move on. Witchblade Volume 1 by Marguerite Bennett. I did get Volume 1, the ongoing. I do not have Witchblade Volume 4 complete collection. That'll be next month, along with Volume 2 of the series. But this I also got for $7. So getting 2 trades for the price of 1 was awesome. Like in my opinion, it was just like awesome, and could not ignore that. Now, I probably could have gotten something else and not gotten Witchblade, but I saw Witchblade, it's like, yeah, why not? We're done. We're done here. Now, so I have said in the past, Alex Scott, he did a Spawn issue. Now, I'm a completist, but I don't include Spawn, as I need that from this author to complete my A.L. Scott Image Comics run. I've also said that about Witchblade Into the Darkness. However, I don't think, even if they do 2 complete collections per year for Witchblade and Darkness, I don't think we'll be caught up to this point. And even if we are, they'll probably just say, now go get the trades for this series. So, might as well start here for the new ongoing. There's the artwork for Witchblade, and the artwork is done by Giuseppe Cafaro, and colors done by Arif Prianto. But the half issue, which is also collected in here, so 1 through 6, plus the half issue is collected in this trade, is written by Marguerite Bennett, and artist is Ariella Cristianta, and then colored by Brian Valenza. And I love how they have a table of... Actually, I was going to say, they have a table of contents, but no page numbers. They do. I think that's the way to go. Just do it here so it doesn't interrupt the artwork. Now, I've never cared about that, and most of the time they just do it in the margins. But hey, if you're If people complain, that's the best way to appease them. Is to say you really care about this black being covered up by a little bit of black being covered up by a page number. No, that's in my opinion not worth being overexcited about. But it's cool they do this because they say, "Oh, chapter 2 is feeling good." So if you're split through it, like, what did I leave off on? I know it was chapter 2. Oh, chapter 2 is called feeling good. That's where I need to leave off on. Because some people, I understand some people don't do what I do and use bookmarks. They just try to remember, and they have better memory than I do. But even sometimes they were like, oh, and then it's good, you know. Hey, this is you too. But yeah, Witchblade. Oh, it also collects a 3-issue, an exclusive 3-page teaser featuring another pilar of the Top Cow universe, the Darkness. It's pretty cool. I think it's exclusive to the trade. It's on the half issue. So yeah, for Madi, the artist, I can't find it. I know it's Pia Guerrera. It's the only name I know off the top of my head. It's if you really want to know, just look up Image Comics Madi, and you'll find that answer. The Infinite Horizon, written by Jerry Duggan. You're gonna hear that name a lot for the next few books, and artwork done by Phil Noto. However, this is the only one that's done all. It's all done by Jerry Duggan. The rest of them will be co-authored by Brian Posehn. Now, Infinite Horizon I did read before, and I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I wanted to own this because it's got really good artwork, and I like the novelty of I also bought, a few months ago, I bought the Horizon Experiment. Now we have the Infinite Horizon, and I have Horizon, all 3 of which are published by the same publisher, Image Comics. Different authors, and also different artists, but also, they all have the Horizon in the name. It's a really stupid novelty, I know, but that's who I am. And honestly, I wouldn't. That's not the only reason I bought this. But yes, Infinite Horizon. This collects all 6 issues. Right? It was 6 issues? I do have to double check to make sure I'm right. I'm like almost positive that I'm right about that, but gotta make sure. Yes, I was right. 1 through 6. All 6-issue miniseries collected in one pretty thick trade. And also, this is used very good by Half Price Books Emerald, and no blemishes other than this. I think when there's sticker residue, they have to go back from it, and they can't lie and say no, it's used like new, because other than that, there's no problems. No. I think they have to use very good, because sometimes, like, again, sticker residue on that Wonder Book, the pretty violent book that was from the third-party seller Wonder Book that I bought it from. That was used very good, but just the sticker residue was the only thing wrong with that. I saw at least. Now, so which third-party sellers do I recommend the most? Wonder Book, New Dimension Comics, pretty much all of them besides Half-Price Books and Super Book Deals. And Super Book Deals, I've heard people have gotten damaged books, torn and ripped and everything. The one and only time I've used their services, I've gotten off scot-free, but it was definitely a never ordering from these guys ever again, because that was too nerve-wracking for me. I straight up got 2 copies of the same book because of that reason. And that is the book I donated to the Instagram follower that I mentioned here before. But yeah, the Super Book Deal book came in just fine. There was a couple blemishes, but nothing too bad, and it was purely cosmetic. But definitely, yeah, I don't want to change that again, because I got off lucky this time. But why next time it's too risky for me? Hell no to Super Book Deals. Next up, we have The Last Christmas, and obviously there's more than one person that said they had bad experience with Super Book Deals. Written by Brian Posehn and Jerry Duggan, but the artwork is done here by Rick Remender, who pencils it, inked by Hilary Barta, and colored by Michelle Madsen. All 5 issues of The Last Christmas is collected here. I gotta double check to make sure I'm right. I know I am, but yeah. So this reminds me a lot of Image Comics' version of Krampus, which was, yes, 1 through 5, which was written by, not by Jerry Duggan or Brian Posehn, but just by, like, flipping through the artwork, seeing the covers, immediately, it was like, it's a Christmas book, it's definitely for mature readers, Krampus vibes. Now, that book was, like, okay. I definitely want to reread that, and I want to reread the updated Oni Press version my library has, my local library has, but obviously it's not going to be this month. It'll probably end up being in September, maybe end of August if I can get there fast enough. But we got a vacation and a smack dab in the middle, and after that I have work, so I'm going back to work after that. So. And obviously, like, if anything, it's easier. Say, because the library that I get books from is right down the street from where I work. But what I'm saying is that what books will I be reading at that time? Will I be finishing up, unfortunately, the next batch? Potentially the next batch that I get? The next, so many things conflicting, and I'm just like, I don't want to say definitely next month. Definitely in September, though. Definitely in September. Alright. Next up is, we got Last Christmas. I mentioned everything. Showed the artwork. I'm going to show it again because I have that feeling that I didn't, even though I know I did. Just do it again. Why I know I just said the same thing. Alright, good. So we're officially longer than the previous video. But I do need to get going because I don't want this video too long, longer than it has to be. So... Next up is Scott McTiernan versus the Forces of Evil. You've heard of Scott Pilgrim versus the Forces of Evil. Now we have Scott McTiernan versus the Forces of Evil. That's yet again written by Jerry Duggan and Brian Posehn. Now, why specifically I need Brian Posehn? Well, Rifters I got back in May was co-authored by Brian Posehn, and I was like, hey, just out of curiosity, what else has he done for Image? I know it's a significant amount. And everything else he's done is co-authored in general. What else? Hey, just 4? Next month or July, because the last Brian Posehn book was not being released until July. But anyways, Scott McTiernan versus Forces of Evil, which collects Scott McTiernan. Secret History on the War of Weed, Scott McTiernan's Halloween and Holiday Party one-shots. So 3 one-shots. Because Halloween and Holiday Party are 2 different issues. And I'll go with the artist after, because I just realized I forgot to do that. Artist, so for all across the board, the artist is Scott Koblish, and the colorist is Hi-Fi. So there you go. But yeah, this one looks like nice, kooky, insane. I like action. Like, sometimes I just want an action-packed, complete nonsensical book that is created for pure entertainment value. Doesn't really care about making sense. Doesn't care about being actual factual or being any type of anything but ridiculous and over the top. And sometimes I want that. Like Mayhem by Tyrese Gibson is that is exactly what I'm talking about. That I highly recommend you check that out. That you should find that for $1 a pop. It's 3-issue miniseries. It's $3. You can't go wrong with Mayhem by Tyrese Gibson. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. That completely balls to the wall action. Sometimes I just want that. I need a little palate cleanser. Not all the time, but most of the time. Not all the time, but it's a nice little novelty. Rick Remender and Brian Poseh's Grommets. Now this one is, the artist here is Brett Parson, with Marino Denizzo being the colorist. And this collects all 7 issues of this miniseries. Nice little novelty here is that it takes place in the 80s. So if you like Stranger Things and you want more content that takes place in the 80s, Grommets. And it's Rick Remender, so I cannot imagine you're gonna have obnoxious references to 80s nostalgia. He wouldn't do that. Rick Remender is an above competent writer. Like, I think Rick Remender should have his own class, if he doesn't already, where he teaches up and coming writers, especially indie writers, how to write good. Not just good, really good. Not just really good, amazing. Not just amazing, incredible. Like, I even then, doesn't do injustice. Alright. Next up is a 2-volume series, and that is Impaler, Volumes 1 and 2. Both written by William Harms. Now, I'm not going to go over the creative team for Volume 2. We're just going to assume it's the same across the board. That's what I do for, as I did for Pretty Violent, we're assuming the same for Impaler. And like with Impaler, and like with Pretty Violent, I'm going to only show the artwork for Volume 1. Now, so Impaler is written by, okay, so we have to do this. So this is kind of annoying because they don't, well, actually, I'll compare it to here. Okay, never mind then, we're good. Pencils and additional inks by Nick Postic. Inks and colors by Nick Marinkovic. But all written by William Harms. Well, it's all ours there. They're written by, Jesus Christ. Written by William Harms. And look at that nice 2-page spread. That's some damn good artwork if I do say so myself. Again, it instantly grabs you. At least it instantly grabs me. Alright. Last, but certainly not least, 39 minutes by... Oh, wait, okay. Whoa. That was rushing. That is the definition of rushing. Alright. So, no one saw 39 minutes. No one even knows what that book is. No one even knows if I got that this month, because we're going back to Impaler. Impaler collects Volume 1 is 1 through 6, I believe. Yep, 1 through 6. So, Impaler Volume 1 collects 1 through 6 of Impaler, and Impaler Volume 2 is, I believe, 1 through 5. Yes. So why 1 through 5? Well, they did Impaler Volume 2, 1 through 5. So it's a 5-issue miniseries, but they call it Impaler Volume 2, so you don't get confused. Alright. Now, last and certainly not the least is 39 Minutes. Written by William Harms, with artwork done by Jerry Lando, Calrissian. And Linda Sajic is the colorist for chapters 2 through 4. Brian Buccellato is the colorist of Chapter 1, and Jay Leaston is the inker for Chapter 1. But I guess Jerry Lando is rest, I don't know, doesn't specify. It only says inker for Chapter 1. It's the only credits. Now, I'm going to assume that this is an OGN, but if it's not, it's a 4-issue miniseries. But it looks like it's an OGN. Split up into 4 chapters. Which I always appreciate that. Even a thin book like this, I appreciate when it's split into chapters. But there you go. There's the artwork for 39 Minutes. Actually, I know this is an OGN because it told me on my comic shop website. My comic shop is a nice resource if you want to know details like that. They'll tell you. And if you don't know what chapter you're on, because it's a DC New 52 book and you can't do the math same thing for me, I can't do the math, they'll tell you. This is issue 33 of Green Arrow, Batman, whatever the hell you're reading. And that, as they say, is that. I now am going to put these books away. So, we're going to end this video now. I just do dead air for 2 minutes. No, I'm not going to do that. We'll make it 58 minutes. You know what? I'll prattle on a little bit at the end here. 18 trades, if you include 21 as a trade, and I'm borderline on that. But yeah, that 21 book, I want to say it's just because of how old it is. And I don't blame the publisher even then. Like, I'm not saying, oh, it's dated, you shouldn't have been doing trades back then, this is a great example. No, it's just, that was the way it was back then. You know, you didn't have the same resources you probably have these days. I can only imagine what the environmentally friendly version of the environmentally friendly paper would look like. Do I have anything that says that here? I don't think I do. But recent DC trades do that, and you can't tell the difference, and it's just fine. So, if you have to do that, then do that, and that's the way you do it. All right, I gotta put these books away, and still have enough time to read. I'm a bit behind on my reading, so we're gonna end it here. It's also been an hour as of retros. I'll do 20 seconds longer. So this is gonna be the last video for until the next one. But this should be the last one that I upload. If I upload this at night, at least, and not during the day of August 1st, this should be the last video I upload daily. I know I just said I'm on a live stream, I don't like doing daily uploads. I do and I don't. Double-edged sword, but I like it at the end of the day. I like doing daily uploads if I have to. In instances like this, I have to. Rather than have you guys wait weeks on end when I've already filmed them, you might as well just get it right away, basically. But this one will always be the first of the month. Complete comic hauls, graphic novel hauls. Even if I get all the comics on the 15th of that month, always wait till the 1st of the next month, just in case I get something between the 15th and the 31st, or 30th, or 28th. Whatever the month has for days.